Welcome back to The Express at Arts Umbrella at the shops at Morgan Crossing. This new space is giving kids in South Surrey a chance to experience what the kids on Granville Island have been learning for years. That arts learning gives kids new skills and new ways of thinking that can help benefit them for life. And if you want to talk skills and a different approach, just wait till you see this next story that has us hurrying hard in Vancouver.
The game of curling has a long history, and these members of the Vancouver Curling Club have been playing in a league of their own for many years. All of the players in this league have some degree of vision impairment, from completely blind to partially sighted.
I became officially legally blind about 4 years ago. And then a good friend of mine, that I've become a good friend of mine, encouraged me to come down here, and that's about 2 years ago now, 3 years ago. This is my third year curling. And it's very exciting, it's very interesting. I've never curled before in my life.
I've been curling off and on for about 25 years, and been with a couple of different clubs, but mostly with this club. It's a lot of fun, camaraderie, on and off the ice. It's not like hockey where everybody drops their gloves and fights. We shake hands before the game, we shake hands after the game.
Broadway, like just into the house, okay? Into the house. Into the house.
Some of the curlers are helped by volunteers who guide them in the game in various ways.
What we do is we try to describe the shot that we would like them to make. An in-turn, so you need enough weight to get over the hog line, and so that gives them an idea of the weight that they need to throw, and then we try to get them to throw it on the right line, and it depends on their visual impairment. Some people are totally blind, so in that case you just talk to them and you have them move the rock back and forth until it looks like it's in the right line, and you say, yeah, that looks good, and then they go. Most people have a little bit of vision to various degrees, and we often use a flashlight then, and they can see the light, and so we put the light down and they can aim directly at that.
The only assistance I really need is for them to hold the broom about probably 10 or 12 feet in front of me, and then I just slide out and aim for the broom. I can do a lot of sweeping myself because I've got enough vision if I'm close enough to the rock to see it.
Ed Skretting, who lost his sight at the age of 21, has been curling with this league for more than 25 years.
It's the companionship, meeting with people and talking to people. Because my curling's not the best, so the people are the important part.
Everybody helps everybody and kids everybody, and if you throw a good stone, they say, don't do that again, you know. But it's good fun, good fun.
In Vancouver, I'm Kendall Harris for The Express.
The website is vancouvercurlingclub.com, and they have all kinds of leagues for all kinds of levels that they invite you to join. In the summer months, the ice is melted and the space is available for rent. Get those creative juices flowing. And speaking of creativity, when do you feel that you're at your best? Every artist has a special time of day. For some, it's the morning. For some, it's night. And when you meet this next artist and hear her story, it'll be no surprise that she's the nocturnal type.
This little owl will probably end up being a nice bright sky blue. I don't get that motivation until late at night. I don't know why it hits me so late at night, but quite often I'll stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning painting away.
Blame it on these big eyes. Fortunately, her nocturnal friends keep artist Holly St. Denis in good company. A bit of a night owl herself, late-night inspiration doesn't hit until all is quiet at her kitchen table in Whistler.
My grandfather collected owls when I was a kid, and I don't know, I sort of made just the one thinking of him, but didn't expect to start a collection with it.
Papier-mâché owls have become Holly's signature. Big ones, small ones, blue ones, green ones. Each has its own unique look.
I can make little changes here and there and make them completely different, and you know, each one is fun because they can be different colors and, you know, slightly different changes around the eyes and the feathers.
All of Holly's owls are made from papier-mâché. Growing up in an artist family, the Langley native worked in sketching, sculpting, painting, and pottery. But she best appreciated the hands-on shaping and sculpting papier-mâché afforded. especially living in a ski resort town.
Living up here in Whistler, we don't have a craft store that you can go and buy products from easily, and paper mache is one that I can pick up my products locally and make it myself at home, so it's always a little easier that way. It's more convenient.
But the application is far from the haphazard kindergarten craft project most of us are familiar with.
You can go a little further than that. Like I make my own paper pulp clay, which is another form of paper mache, and you're just using a few extra mediums like wall plaster, glue, flour, and you make a clay, and then that you use to sculpt over top of your base, which is the strips of newspaper.
The owls are my absolute favorite. Check out this cute little guy hanging out in his nest. You can meet Holly's owls at whimsyowlway.com or here at the Whistler Public Library, where they're currently on display. Different kind of wildlife are showcased here, including a wily blue fox.
The fox I gave moving arms and legs, so that was a little bit trickier.
Growing up on a hobby farm, all sorts of barnyard friends take shape under this Whistler Arts Council member's hands.
Runner ducks are those tall, skinny ducks that you see running around where they stand straight up like little pencils almost, like the duck in the movie Babe. And we had them when I was a kid, and they were just hilarious, the funniest birds. And so I thought it'd be kind of fun to make a couple of those.
Duck, fox, or owl, all artworks are colorful.
I didn't want it to be taken too seriously. I wanted, people to see it and smile.
Morning, noon, and night. These owls can stay out all day long. The only night owl at this table is the artist. From Whistler, I'm Nicole Fitzgerald for Shaw TV.
As mentioned, you can see Holly's work on display at the Whistler Public Library. You can also find it online on Etsy or at whimsyowlway.com. Now, her work is a favorite with collectors, and she's a bit of a collector herself. She collects teapots. And if you think that sounds like a bit of a throwback, well, just wait till you see what's coming up after the break.
Well, my mother and father loved to collect antiques.
Old world charm meets new world comfort in Harrison Mills. Arts in action under one creative umbrella. The Express. We are your local voice.
Community programming on Shaw has been generously sponsored in part by
hairstyling and color services for Shaw TV, provided by the Lounge Hair Studio, loungehairstudio.com. Travel along with us as we explore beautiful British Columbia on the Quality Assured Collision Road Trip. Entertaining and informative, the Quality Assured Collision Road Trip. Wednesdays, 6 and 10 p.m. on Shaw TV's The Express.
Welcome back to The Express at the new Arts Umbrella location at the Shops at Morgan Crossing. For all the aspiring artists in the South Surrey area, they're offering high-quality arts education in action for kids ranging from 2 years old all the way up to 19. Bit of a different dream with our next story that takes us to Harrison Mills, where a family home has been transformed into a boutique resort.
My parents had 4 children. I was the youngest, and we decided to turn the home of my parents into an inn.
A grand English-style manor belonging to the Pretty family since the early 1900s was transformed to Rowena's Inn in 1995. Secluded on 160 acres in Harrison Mills, the Pretty estate exemplifies a more grandeur period in time.
Well, my mother and father loved to collect antiques. They had an eye for beautiful furniture, and they started by purchasing a lot of antiques over in England. There's a bit of history to some of the pieces, which makes it more interesting.
Dame Nellie Melba was one of the most famous opera singers of the late Victorian era, and her bed rests in Betty Ann's former bedroom. Before the Pretty family purchased the dining room suite, it had entertained the likes of royalty.
In 1939, when King George VI and the Queen came across Canada, they sat at this table when they were entertained for dinner.
To carry on the Pretty legacy, Betty Ann has worked hard to keep the estate a family affair.
Having the history of this place, that's why I wanted to carry on with family. because so many people that come here are very interested in the history. They're interested in the photos on the walls and of the children growing up and my parents and friends, and it will be passed down to my children. I have 3 children, and also my nephew, who is very dedicated and has worked very hard here, and he also used to help my father.
My grandfather was the one who basically homesteaded here on the property. He lived to be 102. I made it an effort to get to know him before he passed away. After his passing, my uncle, who decided to change the country home into the inn and develop the property into a golf course, basically hired me to be his right-hand man and make his dream become a reality.
As the only surviving member of her immediate family, Benny Ann is currently the president of Pretty Estates, owning 100% of the shares.
It's sort of my dream, really. It was to own this place eventually one day, and it was a dream come true, much to my surprise in the end, because I thought, well, I'll never be living in this house once we turned it into an inn. But here we are. We moved right up from our home in West Vancouver.
Blending old and new, the family plans to develop the property further by adding a small boutique hotel. For Shaw TV, I'm Corrin Skalbeck.
The website is sandpipergolfclub.com, and although it seems secluded and very private, Rowena's Inn sits on 160 acres of the estate. Wow, awesome place to visit. And for more ideas of things to do around the valley in Vancouver, we've got today's Express Spotlight.
Looking at the Surrey Little Theatre is a romantic comedy of 4 middle-aged singles, 2 women and 2 men, who are looking for some kind of relationship. What will happen when the Mayan calendar ends? Presented at the H.R. MacMillan Space Center, Dr. Ed Krupp, astronomer and author, explains what the universe is really doing on the winter solstice of 2012. Visit more than 300 exhibitors at the Vancouver International Boat Show. Held at BC Place and the Granville Island Maritime Market and Museum, you can learn from sailing experts and fishing experts.
And that's it for today's Express from Arts Umbrella's newest location in South Surrey. Here they offer early learning classes along with media, visual, and theatre arts. We're going to leave you with a look at more ways that they inspire. Thanks for watching The Express, only on Shaw TV.